What did you think going back to, what was it, WrestleMania 3, the Savage versus Steamboat match?
This is a weird one for me.
And I know why.
Yeah, I loved it until I talked to Ricky about it.
Right, okay, enough said. Because I know.
Yeah. And it really put me off.
Yeah.
I still love it.
If you just watch it now for what it is, and I mean, it's for wrestling fan standards, it's one of the greatest matches of all time.
Incredible.
But when we're talking about on the inside, what we're talking about, as far as your stay here in the States, or when you was over in England, your favorite world champion body of work here in America. Because you get different guys. You get guys that are funk guys. You get guys that are race guys. You get guys that are flair guys. You guys get a Michaels guys or a Bret Hart. Are you where are you at on that?
I have to say Ric Flair. I think just because.
Okay, now what was it about Ric Flair? Because he's my favorite pro wrestler of all time, and you're going to hear many people, depending on what camp they're in, and again, wrestling is subjective. And people are going to say, if you've seen one Ric Flair match, you've seen them all. Well, that's like saying if you've heard one, Boston song or Led Zeppelin song or Metallica song, you've heard them all, because everybody, every band plays within their structure of what they do. Every wrestler wrestles within the framework of what they do. So why would you say Ric Flair in your estimation?
That was I didn't see American wrestling until 2 years after I was already wrestling. Right? Couldn't get any tapes.
Right.
People forget that. I didn't own a video until I was just leaving. Well, my parents had one just as I was leaving home.
Yeah,
we had black and white TVs when I was a kid. So I got some tapes, and he was one of the first stuff I got was the NWA from Charlotte. And so I've seen him go out there with all these people, and just something about him, just the way he did his stuff, and just the charisma and everything about it, and just carrying himself like a pro. And then I got to see. I didn't see any. I saw all the best matches because that's the only ones I was getting. I wasn't seeing everything.
Yeah,
I was seeing the Steamboat matches and the Bruiser Brody matches and people stuff that was like, oh my God, this fella just keeps going, and that was a lot of it as well. It's just the conditioning, and to be able to, I can go a long time, but at my pace.
Right,
his pace was 20. Same with you. Your pace is 20 notches above anything I've ever done, because that's the way you were. And I'd watch you in these long matches with Rocky and with H and that, and I'd be watching. How do these fellas keep going?
Most of them I was blowed up, but I kept going.
No, but you kept going.
But the thing about Flair was, what I liked what he did was, sometimes you need to take you down in a match and just by feeling it or listening or his instincts, he'd know when things that needed to be put in motion, time to speed things up, time to shut somebody down, time to get a little heat, a little bit of hope, something. Yeah. His timing was just so good, and he did it within just you watched his body, he looked like a pro. He was so relaxed.
Yeah.
He adjusted trunks a little bit, put his hair back, maybe a woo or whatever, but just the way he executed his business. Yeah. And when it got time to get nasty, he was mean. He was kind of that, that cowardly heel. And I mean, so he wasn't a tough guy.
And I liked his.
But when it came time to get mean, he got mean.
What I liked was when I used to watch the actual. Another thing that drew me to him was that the way he did certain things, and I knew he'd had some kind of a British influence. And then I found out later Billy Robinson. Because the way he put a wrist lock on was the proper way to put a wrist lock on.
Right.
Instead of that old Chinese burn kind of thing that people do. I don't still get that. You know what I mean? But he put a proper wrist lock on. And little things that he did correctly.
Right.
I used to love watching Dory Funk Jr.
I loved to watch Dory too.
So I just liked the grinding and just the work standard.
At first, when I started watching Dory Jr. stuff, and this was in a different frame of mind back in the early 90s. I mean, I was like, this guy's kind of boring. But as I got educated to what is great wrestling, I was like, oh, Dory Funk Jr. is one of the best. And I loved watching his stuff and still do. I mean, all of his stuff looked fantastic and totally credible.